Viewers, and welcome to this special broadcast dedicated to the celebration of the life of the former government delegate to the Kumba City Council, Ngoh Nkelle, Victor, who reportedly died, and he was buried earlier today in Kumba, chief town of Meme Division of the Southwest region of the country. To keep us company throughout this live broadcast, we will be having Mr. Ndiwum Emmanuel, who equally will be analyzing the legacy of the revered government delegate or former government delegate to the Kumba City Council. Our team of reporters in the southwest region of the country, they will be giving us updates as to how the burial unfolded earlier today in Kumba. Good afternoon, Ndiwum Emmanuel, and welcome to this broadcast.
Good afternoon, LASHA, Kingsley. Good afternoon to all the viewers of my media prime, and especially to the family of the fallen Nkelle. And my sincere condolence goes to the children, the wife, and the close relatives. We know how painful it is to lose someone of his magnitude in the ranks of our different families, because we also know equally how painful it is to raise such a person to such a standard.
Really, Cameroon has lost a great icon, a great leader, and let's go to Kumba and find out how the corpse removal unfolded since yesterday. Christo B and Tamfu Sidwan, not leaving out our technicians, our team of technicians, led by Johnson Vola. They are in Kumba. Let us find out how the corpse removal unfolded yesterday in Kumba.
From a humble beginning to the pinnacle of social and political power in Kumba, this son of Pa Benson Golobe and Ma Priscilla Elo was born on October 24, 1960. After obtaining the first school leaving certificate at Bethel Baptist Primary School, Kumba, young Victor Ngoh Nkelle moved to CPC Bali and later to Cast Bambili, all in the Northwest region, where he got his GCEO and A levels on record time. Then picked up a job as young teacher at Frank Harcourt College, Kumba, before the hands of destiny carried him to Germany, where he graduated with a master's degree in cooperative economics. Despite lucrative jobs with German cooperative banks, Victor's dream was to come back home and work at the National Produce Marketing Board. The reality was quite different, as it instead took him to a Bafusam-based German NGO, CEDRICK, and the Southwest Farmers Cooperative. Then came the presidential decree in 2009, appointing Victor Ngoh Nkelle, pioneer government delegate to the Kumba City Council. Kumba citizens and the world at large will live to remember Victor Ngoh Nkelle as the conciliator of people living on both sides of the famous Kumba Water, with the City Council inter-quarter football competitions, and more especially as the one who instituted the Kumba City Council International Trade Fair. The German man, as he was fondly called, Victor Ngoh Nkelle, apart from the political rich legacy to the Meme 1A section of the CPDM party, leaves behind 2 children and a wife to mourn him. For MMP News, getting Kumba on special assignment, Johnson Vola.
Thank you, Chris Toby, for that beautiful report there, painting the picture who Ngoh Nkelle Victor was, the former government delegate to the Kumba City Council, who died recently, and that was the corpse removal yesterday. And earlier today, there was a church service in Kumba before he was, the remains were taken to the family compound, where the last respect was paid to the late government delegate. We are back in the studio. Ndiwum Emmanuel, what legacy does he leave behind? Because most often, many people have this impression that the people, CPDM people, they are often tagged as people who don't champion development, but his case apparently seems to be different. What do you remember of him?
You see, life is to be lived, and whether you live it good or bad, the day you go, there must be a legacy. And of course, you know that, like you rightly said, that people have a belief that CPDM people did not really champion the cause of development. And if you go to those who are close to him, they will certainly have a good story to tell. If you go to those who are distant away from him, they might have the story different. But I would have loved that we should look at
the positive aspects of what he did in Kumba.
Yes, because no matter how small it is always good to talk about the positive side of life, especially when you are gone, because judgment is not of us. Judgment is for the Creator. Some people say his soft-spoken and almost all-reaching attitude to everybody was something to be appreciated. He was soft-spoken. In fact, he was easygoing to almost everybody. He was very integrating. Some say, apart from the fact that he was soft-spoken, they did not see what he did in Kumba as development is concerned. But some are of the opinion that he did something. Now, I am for the opinion that no matter how little he did, or whatever he did, let's look at it from the positive side. If he was able to be the delegate of the then city council for 11 years, it means that there was something he was doing that was permitting the people to continue to allow him there, because he was not there on his own. If the people never came out to cry, if the people never came out striking that we do not want him any longer, it means that he was doing something. Even though we know that the situation of Kumba, as far as roads are concerned, let's look at the case of Konye.
Yes.
Where he came from. Konye, for a very long time, till date, has the story of bad roads. But I don't think he was supposed to do this single-handedly. It was a collection of all other departments in the region put together to see that realization. Even if he did not actually live up to the expectation of people, I think we should appreciate the little that he did.
Yes, like you rightly said, for 11 good years, he was at the helm of the then City Council of Kumba, and he was equally the pioneer governor, or the pioneer city mayor of Kumba. He served in that capacity just for 6 months before the court ruling or the decision of the highest courts in Cameroon. We are talking about Supreme Court that ruled in favor of the current government delegate to, or the current city mayor of Kumba, who is there right now. So let's still go back to talk about what he did for the past 11 years. Like you rightly said, many people in Kumba, they've not complained, which means that if he was there for 11 years, it means that he was doing something to the common man. And many people have quoted him as being somebody who was open to all. He was very open.
Yes, indeed. From every report that we get, the first appreciation comes that he was very open. We can only regret the fact that openness does not mean development. Because I think you can be very open to everybody, listen to everybody, but you don't offer them what they want. But the people's appeasing part of it is that even if he did not offer them all, contrary to some leaders who make themselves demigod, he never made himself a demigod. So he was open to the people. And of course, 11 years, you would have expected more than what he did. You know, the human mind, the human nature makes it such a way that all of us are like Oliver Twist.
When you look at the present laws or the present administration, where everything is centered around, you know, Yaoundé, and before you do something, you need the approval of Yaoundé. So can we really say here that his hands were not tied?
No. If we said here that his hands were not tied, that is a form of intellectual dishonesty, LASHA. This guides me to say well and clear to that he might have had the good intentions, maybe to have these inaccessible routes that they are crying today accessible. Maybe to have potable water everywhere in Konya. Maybe to have electricity, because electricity is one of the highest problems that the people of Konya are facing. I've been there, I've been to Konya, Ekiliwindi, right up to Tinto in Southwest. Nguti, Manyemen, where the first Basel mission.
But that's a general problem. Even in the east region of Cameroon, we have such problems.
Yes, it's a general problem. It's a national problem per se. Now, I was listing them because the people would have loved to enjoy all these social facilities. But then, since the Yaoundé regime makes it in such a way that when you are voted, at times we see you there only as a figurehead. You may have the good intentions, but to materialize them, the means is not there, because the means has to come from Yaoundé. So I am not like justifying why he did not live up to the expectation of the people. But I am saying that like any other one, even those who are still there, seated right now in the same offices, many of them have given us many promises, but they are not able to realize. And when you get closer to them, they tell you that our hands are tied. So we cannot say that his hands were not tied, LASHA.
When you look at the way he managed the Anglophone crisis in Kumba, can we say that he succeeded to be able to, you know, keep his area of command in peace?
That's a difficult one, eh? That's a difficult one, because like you said, his area of command. You and I know that there is still war in Kumba. We know that even if there's some relative peace in some relative areas, there are still sporadic attacks. So he tried, he did what he could do, but that did not stop the war in his area of command. No, let's be honest here. We know he is not a saint. So I cannot come here to canonize him as a saint.
Let's look at fighting urban disorder in Kumba, which is of course a general problem too in other regions of the country. Can we also say that he succeeded in that domain, urban disorder?
No, he did not measure up in that domain. Let's be frank. We are talking about the spirit of a man that we should be praying that he should rest in peace. And you know, resting in peace goes with the truth. We are saying that he was not a saint, and that in that domain, he did not really measure up, because, you know, if you ask a common man the story of Kumba, what Kumba looks like in terms of urban disorder, the person would be honest enough to tell you that. Let me just give you a simple example.
Yes,
Fiango. Let me just give you a simple example. Fiango. That Fiango, which is in the heart of Kumba, remains one of the fertile spots for marijuana consumers. This is verifiable.
Is it his duty?
No.
To fight insecurity.
But in his area of command, he forms part of the top collaborators to subdue such deviancy. And when you talk about urban disorder, this one, it forms part of the urban disorder, because from the smoking point, it goes to the acting point. And so if we cannot succeed to stop where these guys get the courage from, it means that we have failed somewhere along the line. So you look at the nature of Boya in terms of cleanliness, it was not really the best.
Kumba rather. The nature of Kumba.
Ah, Kumba.
Yes.
Beg your pardon. It was not really the best. And then you discover that even if you come down to Kumba market, you see that just at the gate of the Kumba market, they totally, because that one, I'm sure you know, contradict me, that it was not within his command.
It's
that
not
one was that one failed directly under his command. But you discover that between 2010 and 2017, Kumba market was witnessing a lot of disorder. Both
caused by who? The traders?
The traders, yes, the traders. And that is where
Does it mean that the city council did not give them the space or where they were supposed to sell?
You are now speaking my mind. Quite often than not, there were squabbles about space in a market. Let's just take, for example, that maybe the city council orders traders not to sell in this particular place without apportioning them a particular place to hang on. I don't see that it will be a good idea. And you discover that even with the elections of the putting in place of the city council, there was a clash between him and the mayor of Kumba. I think it was Kumba 3.
Yes.
Yes, for sure. Because the mayor thought that this is what he was supposed to do.
And he didn't do it.
And he did not do it. And the mayor went ahead, like crossing his bounds to do what was supposed to be done by him. So, that's my view.
Okay, I will be coming back to you. Let's go find out how the church service, which was organized earlier today in honor of the late government delegate, how it unfolded. Chris Toby and Johnson Vola, they were there earlier in the day and brought back the following report.
Good morning, televiewers of my media Prime Television. Good morning to you out there in the studio. We are here at the Kumbamben Presbyterian Church Parish, where the church service is ongoing. The church service for the repose of the soul of Victor Ngoh Nkelle is ongoing. And according to the program here, the service is officiated by 5 ministers, the main amongst them being Reverend Atem Jacob Agbo. The church is full to capacity with different personalities ranging from political to traditional, passing through even the petty traders who have come to pray for the repose of their former political colleague, social coach, their friend, their father, their church member, and why not the former government delegate to the Kumba City Council. It should be recalled that Victor Ngoh Nkelle was appointed in 2009 as the first ever government delegate to the Kumba City Council. I don't mean Kumba Urban Council, but Kumba City Council, because it had moved from Kumba Urban Council to Kumba City Council. It should equally get to record, or it is on record, that Victor Ngoh Nkelle was the pioneer city mayor of Kumba. Yes, because Greg Miwani, who took over Victor Ngoh Nkelle at the helm of the Kumba City Council, is the second, city mayor for Kumba. Well, we equally have it that according to the program put at our disposal by the family, after the church service here, which is supposed to last an hour 45 minutes, all the mourners are going to converge towards his residence at Alaska Street for the rest of the program, being the burial, as well as everything that goes after, or that goes with it. That is the situation this far. We shall certainly be bringing you other informations as they unfold. Over to you, studio.
Thank you, Chris, Toby, and Johnson Vola for that beautiful report. That was the church service which was organized in memory or in honor of the late government delegate Ngoh Nkelle, Victor, over there in Kumba, chief town of Meme Division. Ndiwum Emmanuel, Ngoh Nkelle battled through elections to be voted as the pioneer city mayor of Kumba in March 2020. He served just in that capacity just for 6 months, and the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Greg Mewanu and citing some irregularities. Would you like you to say something on that?
That's politics. In politics, how you
is it because of what you cited earlier, his shortcomings, or was there something that was not right at the level of his party that the court had to rule in favor of his opponent?
Well, it could be, the shortcomings could be, and at the same time, we know how his political party functions. It's a party made up of a group of many dishonest people, and you need to understand that he himself, I'm not sure that his soul will be feeling bad about the decision that was ruled against him, because I look at it as to have been a family affair, a CBDM family affair. So I don't really like to comment on that, because those who ruled to his disfavor were certainly those who contributed to his ascension there.
Something so what went wrong?
That's where I'm coming. Something went wrong within the ranks of their party. I'm not a fan of that party, but I think from a distance, it's a party that there are some rules in that party that you must agree, especially those rules that are wrong rules. If you don't agree to them, you don't longer.
Was that not an injustice? Was that not an injustice on a man that has given his all for over 11 years?
Well, the national president has given his all for 39 years, and Cameroonians are in penury. Maybe he gave his best, and that best was not the best that the people needed.
But in this case, it was not the people's voice. It was the party that decided otherwise.
The party is made up of the people. And as a people, their voices count. Even if the decision is coming from elsewhere, the voice of the people still counted. So we cannot put the people aside, because if we put the people aside, there will be no party without the people. The party is made up of the people. So only they themselves in their party knows what went wrong. Because when the decision came out, the public was not meant to understand what actually went wrong, because he was sworn in. Remember?
He served for 6 months.
Yes. So if there's something that went wrong first, the thing that went wrong was from the top. I'm sure that this election was conducted by EDGARD.
Of course. That's the body in charge of conducting elections in the country.
That is where the thing that went wrong started going wrong from. Before coming to. Because you will not tell me that we know that the election body serves us no good. That's why we should be clear about it.
No, how can that's an overstatement?
No, it's not an overstatement. I'm milder.
How can you say it serves us no good?
I am milder. I'm even euphemistic. You know, it's just a structure. They receive orders from elsewhere. It's just a structure, so it serves us no good. What serves us the good is if those who give them instruction give them the right instruction. If they do not give the right instruction, they will not apply the right instruction. If they give them the wrong instruction, they will do it. So I think, to me, let's give him a chance for his soul to be resting here, because this saga of ruling for 6 months, many people have questioned it, even within the ranks of that party. How come he was there in the first place?
No, but it was through an election,
yes,
which was conducted and the result proclaimed by the same elector.
That is what I am saying. That
but
many
his
people,
opponent had to contest the election result through the FACO, administrative court,
which means that
later went up to the level of Supreme Court before the decision was sent
LASHA
out.
Kingsley, you are a journalist. When you took your microphone to the people, did they actually tell you that when the court took him out of office and ushered in a different person, the court gave them a reason? Because as the citizens of the country, we have the right to consume public information.
No, the elections was, the election was between, the late government delegate and the current city mayor, Greg Miwanu. And Greg Miwanu contested the results, the election results in court and won.
Okay. To the best of my knowledge, after the contestation, I am not sure. I can be corrected because we are not all around.
Yes.
I'm not sure that a fresh election took place.
No, it actually took place.
Okay, that's why I say I should be corrected.
It actually took place. It actually took place.
And if that is the case, then what went wrong? Only they themselves knows how it went wrong and how they came about to correct it.
So those who are of the opinion that the decision of the Supreme Court was unjust, that was injustice on the late government delegate, they are right to a certain extent.
Well, if they are right, they should know that what affects cocoa is what affects coffee. We live in a country of injustice every day, so his case was not supposed to be indifferent. Maybe because since they know that CBDM people are lawbreakers, because they are actually lawbreakers, they are the teachers of how to break the law in Cameroon. Maybe they thought that in his case, it was supposed to be different, since he was of some standard in that party. And if he failed, those who say it was injustice, if you check at their profile very well, you know everybody in society has his followers. Whether you are right or wrong, you have your own followers. So I am just on a neutral situation, but I think if it was, I cannot say it was a part of injustice.
Surely after the verdict, some Cameroonians even took to the social media in so many, on so many platforms. They were saying that what actually happened is because the late government delegate fell out with his political godfathers.
And it could be true. But I don't remember that CPDM is that party that governs through social media. That's the only party.
No, Cameroonians gave their opinions, especially those that our correspondents in Kumba talked to.
Sorry,
they said that is actually because the late government delegate fell out with, his CBDM political godfathers in Yaoundé.
It should be true. I don't know how I can validate that statement, but we all know how politics is played in Cameroon. If you don't have a political godfather in Cameroon,
no, but in everything you need somebody that has to guide you towards what you are doing. I'm sure in their own career you have somebody that you look up to.
No. Guiding is different from different from a godfather. Godfatherism in this case, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a journalist, whether a politician, means somebody who can actually succeed in putting you into an office if you don't even have the capacity to be there. That's godfatherism. Let me be clear on that one. And it operates like that in almost every domain, Mr. LASHA. We cannot deny it. So the simple truth is that if people already have the information that he fell out with his political godfather, I can only add my voice that it was yes. Because we have seen professors in this country fallen out with their political allies, and in the next week they are in Obno, sent there as punitive punishment. See, in the same party. So his case, I wouldn't say no, because we have living testimonies. We have the case of Professor Mesanganyamde. He's singing.
But he has already won the case at the level of the administrative.
Good.
Court. He won Professor Minister of State, Minister of Higher Education.
Yes.
Professor
So in this case, I don't know whether you also say that the court did injustice to Professor Famdongo, and they did justice to Mesanganyamde. So you see that all in all, it boils around interest, LASHA. It goes with interest.
No, but the courts in Cameroon are credible to a certain extent. When you talk of interest, we've seen situations where even leaders of political parties have had to win sitting ministers in court. In this case, I'm talking about Edith Kawala, who won Minister Paul Atanganji in court. So you cannot say what you are saying.
No, I can say what I'm saying. I can say what I'm saying because we know how our justice system functions. Of what trade is Kawala to this country? Kawala is of no trade to this country. They know that even we rule it in favor of her, is of no trade. Why did they not rule in favor of Kamto in 2018?
No, but Kamto's case was clear now. They won him at the level of the Constitutional Council. We saw the days of deliberation and finally the verdict. So you cannot say why. You cannot say why.
No.
Everything was clear.
Relatively, I am talking in relation to your response that Kawala has won. Okay, she won. After winning, what was her next step? What has she done with that victory?
No, the party belongs to her now. She's the national president.
And that goes with the interest I was talking about. Her interest was to be the national president. Anyway, I'm not here to run down the image of somebody. I am just trying to say that the justice system of Cameroon belongs to a particular party. The people of that party, if you are able and if you can sing songs and clap, you'll be favored by that justice system. If you can't, you won't beat them. That's the honest truth. So, if justice has been done to Mesanganyamding and all the others, they know how they press their buttons.
Okay. They know how they press their button. We'll go back to Kumba to listen to this interview of the wife to the late government delegate to the Kumba City Council. The interview was conducted earlier before the burial by our team of correspondents who are in Kumba, the May Division of the Southwest region of Cameroon. Let's have the interview.
The happy moments we share together. That's the memory is leaving behind. And I wish I would still have the chance to be with him again. I still choose him. He was the best for me. He was everything for me. He was my kid. I miss him so much.
You said something to your manager.
The last conversation I had with my husband, he just told me to just manage. Anyhow, manage. You don't know that he was telling me that he's going, I should stay behind and manage things without him. It's now that I'm thinking about what he said to me before he died.
Victor Ngoh Nkelle is an elo, as we call in our dialect. That's an age mate. All grew as children here in Kumba. Most probably in Kumbatown, precisely Kumbatown. I know he is generous, jovial, honest, truthful, hardworking. He believes in hard work, honesty. He's a man who loves people, he loves society. He has done so much for us.
Hello viewers, if you are just joining us, you are watching a special edition of the program dedicated to the celebration of the life of our late government delegate to the Kumba City Council, Victor Ngoh Nkelle. Before that was the interview, or those were the interviews of the wife to the later government delegate and his age mate, conducted there for us by Christo B. and Johnson Vola. We are back in the studio and we are gradually coming to the end of this live broadcast. And Ndiwum Emmanuel is still with us in the studio. He is a political analyst and of course one of us who is always at my media prime to talk on burning issues that affect the life of the nation. Let's go back to the legacy of the government delegate. One thing that many people would remember him for, like we earlier mentioned in course of the program, was his openness. He was very open, meaning that he didn't make himself a demigod like many other top politicians and personalities do, and that's one thing that many people will remember him for. Ndiwum Emmanuel, that openness, you could get into his residence at any moment and he listens to you.
Yes, that's something I think.
So what lessons can Cameroonians and other politicians learn from this? What is
the lessons should start from you and I in the studio here. I want to think that as every individual, we should learn to copy good examples. It costs nothing to be humble. But humbleness can buy everything. I want to think that that's the lesson we can be learning from him. Because if I look into some political figures in this country, we are talking about city mayors.
Yes.
If you look at the city mayor of Douala,
Joseph Bassadin,
before you go into his compound, you have to be interrogated by men in uniform in their numbers. And I don't think that's a good lifestyle to copy. Because when you are a public figure, you are for the public consumption. You are not for yourself.
You are equally a target, and so you need security as well.
No, you are a target depending on
how you live your life.
If you live it well, you will be a positive target because everybody will want to come to you for solution. But if you don't live your life in a way that people look up to you as a solution giver, you will be a target for bad, for the bad reasons. So I want to think that when you are a public figure, I want to relate a story to you. Do you know why Foncha died without ever having a fence in his compound? If you find out, you will be told that Foncha made it clear. I built my house by the roadside and I leave it fenceless because it is a house for pregnant women who are in labor. It is a compound for children coming back from school who are hungry and who need to drink water, who need to eat. It is a house for hungry passersby to sit down and share my meal with me. That's why Foncha never had a gate in his compound. But when you see somebody who has skeletons in the cupboard, he will likely begin the house from the fence before going to the house proper. So I think that is one legacy he has left, which is very rich, and that those who are still alive should learn from it.
Okay, those who are still alive should learn from it, and that's it, televiewers, for this special broadcast, which was dedicated to the celebration of the life of the former government delegate to the Kumba City Council. You had other interviews and reports which came in from Kumba, chief town of Meme division of the southwest region of the country. Christo B. and Johnson Vola, they were in Kumba for that burial, the final journey to eternity of the late mayor. And like Ndiwum Emmanuel said, one thing that the late mayor will be remembered of his openness and keeping his doors open to the local population of the people of Kumba, the city of Kumba. And the program, of course, was produced for us by DESMOND NGWA. And for presentation, I have been LASHA KINGSLEY. Hopefully, we'll be with you some other time, God willing. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye from this end.